Again, we'll start out here for the second posture. Slowly breathe in as you bring your neck to the chin to the neck, chest. Arch the spine back as far as you can go. Hold for a second. Breathe out as you come back to second. The third repetition. Chin to the center as you breathe in. Arch your head back, still breathing in. Hold for a second. Exhale as you come back to center. That's right, number 2.
Great. I really like these exercises.
Yeah. You loosen up after that.
But they're like a workout. These actually what? I was like,
just feel like you're. The nice thing about all 5 of the yoga postures, they all have the same breathing practice, where you're doing your breathing in as you're accomplishing and then you're breathing out, coming back. So they're very simple. They're much simpler than many yoga classes. But this is specifically designed to coordinate all the 5 chakras. So this time, I'm going to show the photo here. This time we're sitting on the floor with our palms down, our feet out. This time as we breathe in, let the head go forward, and then continue to breathe in, come up to a tabletop position. Good.
And keep your eyes straight up to the ceiling.
Yeah, straight to the ceiling, hold for a second, come back to the center. As you exhale.
Oh, that's nice.
Again, head back. Then you head forward now. And then as you inhale, take your head back as you raise to the tabletop. Going all the way up to its flat tabletop. Hold for a second, come back to center as you exhale. For the third repetition, breathe in as you let your head go forward. Continue breathing in as your head goes back and you come to tabletop. Hold for just a second. Breathe out as you let your body go back to center. So we've already done the 4th right. You see, this is not a lengthy 100-year program.
They're very simple. It's really
They're
nice
very
and
simple.
powerful,
Very
and you
nice.
feel it.
You feel it, yeah. So I'm going to show the posture. The starting posture for the 5th right, you guys, is in this posture right here, where you're on your front. The starting posture is up on your hands with the head back. Now as you breathe in, raise your derrieres up and then take your chin under, tuck your chin under, hold for a second, tensing the muscles, and then go back to the first position.
Okay, what's the
Still up.
breathing?
Still up, just like Kathy's doing here. Breathe in as you go. Breathe in as you take your head down toward your chest. Breathe in all the way. Hold for a second. Breathe out as you let yourself go back down to the starting position. Again, breathe in as you go down, tucking your chin in, derrieres up. Hold for a second. Come back to starting position. And that's 3.
I like that.
That's how simple the rights are. Again, people work it up to 21 repetitions. Sometimes people do them twice, 2 sets per day. But it's nice you can do any number you want. Some people do 7 of each set. It's just a very simple. That's for you to take home. And you've now experienced the fountain of youth.
Right. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, it's a real sweet, simple set of practices.
How many would be optimal to do?
Well, they say 21. That's they like 21 of each. Yeah.
Oh, 21.
Eventually, and it's they're so simple. You can do probably 21 of each within a 15, 20-minute period.
21 is 3, which provokes change. It's canvas, it's changed.
Oh yeah, cool.
21.
There we go.
Oh, great. The number. Yeah, that's awesome. So, do you want to do explain? Do you want to explain the mushroom tea? Then we'll go into 2 coconuts, and then the reflexology, and then everybody gets their organship, and then everyone's going to partner up and do a muscle demo for themselves.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
So, guys, the next thing is something I've. How many people know about kombucha KMT to start with? That would be.
I heard a little bit, but I don't know the details about it.
Well, anybody who emails me and says, send me information about the KMT, I'll be glad to send a 2-page write-up on it. I wish actually I brought a sample of it, but I didn't tonight. Let me tell you, my connection with kombucha mushroom tea started in 1994 when I was in Oklahoma for a full week every month. And I was staying with a friend who played golf, and so we were playing golf once during the week I was there. And my friend had a man named Bob who was a friend who played with us. Bob was a cab driver, pure white hair. He had emphysema because he was a heavy smoker. Well, over the course of the spring, time Bob was given by one of his passengers, he was, as I mentioned, a cab driver, a kombucha mushroom starter. Well, pretty soon Bob starts talking about how his emphysema is going away. And then by July, his hair started changing colors. Well, then on Channel 4 in Oklahoma City is a lady named Linda Kavanaugh, who's very similar to our Gene Anderson, and this perky blonde with the most revered newscaster. And she had two ladies in her studio who were in their 80s. They'd both been with many health problems for years until they started drinking kombucha mushroom tea. Now they're both out enjoying life in their gardens again. Well, I got back to Seattle, and in the first part of September or October, the whole front page of the Life section of the PI was kombucha mushroom tea. I got my first starter in October that year, and now I've been doing it for close to 18 years. And for me, over the last 18 years, I've had 4 days off, which I didn't feel too good. They're all in one little bundle. Among the benefits of drinking this tea are you don't tend to get sick, you don't tend to age. It's another complete anti-aging. People cannot get cancer when they're drinking this tea. For me personally, my cholesterol fell from 305 to 200 within 6 months. And then after 6 months, my hair cutter asked if I was dyeing my hair. So I don't know if you know too many people who from age 57 or 50 to 67 haven't gotten more gray hair, but that's me. So I feel like I'm a walking testimony to this tea and how it works. Basically, the first recorded history of kombucha tea was 2,000 years ago in China when they called it the elixir of immortality. They were drinking it in the Forbidden City, and they thought that these people were immortals. Well, Dr. Konbu from Japan, he snuck one out of China, a starter, and 400 years later, about 400 AD, and he introduced it to Korea and Japan. It's now in Russia very heavily. They call it the Kargasak tea, or the mushroom sponge. And essentially, my recipe for making it is you take 4 quarts of water, you boil up a cup and a half of sugar. Yeah, regular sugar.
Sugar is the activator starter.
Regular sugar. You put in 10 to 12 tea bags, black or green tea, any caffeinated tea you choose. You've then got sweet tea. You put into that sweet tea, once it's room temperature, you put into it a kombucha mushroom starter. Well, my starters look like a frisbee or like a pancake, really.
Almost like an abalone, big
Yeah.
abalone.
Oh.
Yeah, they're about that thick. And your starter will rise to the top of your bowl. It tends to grow to whatever size bowl you put it into. And over the course of roughly 14 days, your tea turns into this beverage that people have sampled called KMT, or kombucha tea. It tastes like apple cider with vinegar. And the longer the starter spends of the tea, the stouter the tea gets. And so once it reaches the stage where it tastes like what you like, what you prefer, you then do your harvesting, which means you start the whole process over again by taking that tea, putting it in the refrigerator, then starting to drink 8 ounces a day, or 4 to 8, and forget about aging.
And what you could do to make it taste better is that what I do is get frozen fruit, your favorite frozen fruit, whether it's blueberries or strawberries or blackberries. You put your kombucha in a cup at the bottom, and then put your frozen strawberries in there, and take club soda.
Yes.
And you put a sprig of mint, and you got your holistic, yummy cocktail.
Yeah.
And it gives you energy. Like, I'm a big coffee drinker. Everyone likes coffee here, yeah? No? That's good for you. Well, coffee will be very dense on the body, right? But we love our Starbucks, right? It'll be dense on the body. So when I do my kombucha, and it just cleans it, lifts things up. I can feel the whole lifting process.
The final part of this growing process is at the end of this 2 weeks, there's a new one growing on top of the batch. which you then put into a Ziploc bag along with starter
A new
juice.
one, what do you mean a new one?
A brand repeats, it duplicates itself.
So does it get firm or?
No, yeah, it's about that thick, that's like a pancake.
And it creates a whole nother one, a baby.
Oh, cool.
They call it a starter. And so, yeah, so people then give those to their friends because they want to get rid of them. So like at home now, we've got 5 we'd love to give away.
We'll give
So
away free. if you
anybody
really
who wants
want-
one can have one, and it's a pass-on free kind of thing.
Do you
that-
have to use the sugar? I cannot eat sugar stuff.
Sadly,
What do you
well,
do?
it's a, you know, when you think about it though, if you took your, say, 6 ounces of this tea, put it into 1.5 quarts of water to really stretch it out, it really doesn't tend to grow with honey. I mean, they've done so many experiments with it. It's that whole fermenting process that
And the
makes
sugar
this work.
is the activator to give its fermentation. So that activates, that's the
Yeah.
reason for the sugar.
It turns
It's
actually
like
the sugar.
wine, when you make wine, you need sugar, don't you?
I have not done wine before.
You need something
Yeah,
that has
what
that
do you
sugar
use?
substance, and
Yeah.
that's the
That's the activation process. But try it after it's been completed and see how you feel with it.
Even people with
Because it
candida-
activates. Because
Yeah.
the whole fermentation is the healthiest part.
Even people with things like candida do
Yeah.
well with this, and it
Yeah.
helps. It actually turns this thing into a
It
beverage
changes the
that's
sugar.
amazing. It's
Right.
miraculous.
Yeah, it becomes a living culture rather
Yeah.
than